Hi, everybody. Joe Compton here. Obviously, it's been a long time since I've started a show like this with just me talking. And whatever intro I had planned, which I really didn't have one, I was still trying to find it. Kind of went out the window anyway. I felt the need to come and address everybody at GoIndieNow and everybody who's a part of GoIndieNow, and to just say that I love you all. I am so proud and just grateful and excited about this community each and every day. It's why I do what I do here at GoIndieNow. It's why this has grown and been the success that it's been because of all of you. And that being said, there's nothing I wouldn't do for you, and there's nothing you wouldn't do for me. We're a community that needs to stand together, that needs to embrace why we're so different or why we are so the same. I mean, it shouldn't matter. What matters is that together we're much stronger than apart. There's too much divisiveness going on in our world right now. There's too much hate being spread, and there's too much political rhetoric being tossed about in every direction, in every sense of the word, in every sense of the thoughts. And we're artists, And yeah, while we all have our opinions, we all have our thoughts on matters and subjects, and we're right to have those, and we're even right to express those. We need more than ever to understand that not everybody does everything the same way. It's one of the cool things about being an artist is you get to discover, and one of the cool things about here on GoIndieNow, you get to discover so many different ways in which art is created and how it's created and who does what and how they do it. That's why we have this show. We have tips on this show. We have little tricks that come up in some of the things that we've done, like our film feature Filmmaker segment. We have great art for you to try in our new releases with our review segments. All of those feature some great independent art. And, yes, I do feature the independent realm of the artistry. And in some ways, I'm divisive as well because of the idea that this is an indie art. But that hasn't meant that I don't want those who seek a traditional method to be a part of this. You are an independent thinker, just like every one of us, and I welcome each and every one of you to come and join me. No longer am I going to think that because you're traditional, you don't have a place in our community. You certainly do, and never have I really thought that. I just haven't, included you guys in some of the interviews and shows we've done, and that's going to change. If you so wanted to, you're more than welcome to be a part of what we do. Because, like I said, you're an independent thinker just like everybody else, and there's some things you do independently because you are an artist, and an artist is an independent venture. So in many respects, we're kindred spirits in many ways. We just figure out a different way in which to distribute and put out our work. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. I just am just really at a loss at what I can do to help ease the tension. And then I started to think about it, and this is the platform I have. This is where I am. And so I choose to embrace you and bring you into the fold. Whether you choose to stay here, whether you choose to accept my embrace with social distancing, I might add. Okay, that was a bad joke. But whether you choose to do that is up to you. And I want you to be a part of this community. I want you to feel safe. I want you to feel respected. I want you to feel like you're contributing, and I want you to feel like you're learning and you're getting as much as you want out of this experience as possible. That has been my goal from day one, to bring you all into the fold, not just authors, not just filmmakers, not just musicians, not just any independent art form, wrestling, comic books, the video games, you name it. I want to bring it here, and I want to celebrate all of you. So join me. Be a part of GoIndieNow, a place that hopefully we can come together and be together. I really hope that's true. Obviously, what's going on in our world is very, very just disturbing and terrible, and it's affected me greatly, as you can tell. So that being said, it really, truly, with great respect and honor, do I say this, that it's always time to go indie now, and it's time for our show. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. I love you all. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Julia Allen, and I'm here with this month's GoIndieNow book review. This month I reviewed The Book of Chaos by Jessica Renwick. It's a middle grade fantasy novel, and here is the blurb to get a better idea about it. Winner of the 2019 Book Excellence Award for Children's Fiction and the 2019 Children's Literary Classics for Middle Grade General, The Book of Chaos has been described as a true jewel among children's books. When a strange book lands in Fable Nuthatch's lap and her cousin disappears into its pages, she follows, hurtling into an enchanted forest far from the rolling hills of her home. This is a land filled with strange people, magic, and more danger than Fable has ever dreamed of. She must battle not only for a way home, but for the lives of those she loves most. With the help of her peculiar new friends, Fable must learn to trust in herself or risk losing her cousin forever. Can she save him before it's too late? And here's the review. Fable's a young girl who can do magic like her aunt. She's raised by her aunt after a tragedy and hangs out with her little cousin all day, who she loves, but also finds annoying. He doesn't have magic and is tired of getting in trouble because Fable is using her magic when she shouldn't be. Fable doesn't realize, but a dangerous and malicious book has been hidden in her room since she was a baby taken in by her aunt, and a witch wants her youth, but has to wait for Fable to ripen and get old enough to harvest. So one day they discover the magic book that sucks in ink every time Fable tries to write in it, no matter what she uses, crayon paper, or crayon marker, pen, whatever she writes just disappears. And after accidentally attacking a couple of bullies when they aren't allowed to leave the yard, Fable begins to realize the book is not as harmless as it seems. So when her and Timothy decide to destroy it, it instead disappears Timothy into its pages. Fable follows suit and a real adventure begins. So the story was charming. It is meant for younger readers, but as with certain authors and books like J.D. Estrada's Given to Fly, which I reviewed the other year, when it's done right, it just means it's a more imaginative story and not just a simpler read. It has a good theme to it, of Fable learning to trust herself and her abilities in order to save the day like any good book does. I feel like books aimed at younger readers get a really bad rap of being simple and being tedious to read, but when one is enchantingly written and has good characters, it's so easy to just fall into a new magical world. So I like the characters. Fable has realistic with the others. It's a great family dynamic that a lot of people can relate to or at least connect with, both with her overly mother hen of an aunt and with her little cousin who she loves but annoys her. And then there's the new friendship she forms when she's in the book itself. So another thing I really liked about this book was it had kind of a lyrical writing style. So it was really perfect for this type of fantasy story and easy to get lost in this world. But the only thing that threw me off was when you realize that it's not set in like ancient times or like medieval times, because she talks about her little cousin playing video games. And then you realize, oh, it's modern day. So that was a little jarring, but otherwise, I really loved. I thought this fantasy world was like really great. So it won some awards for a very good reason. If you're looking for a charming read that you can go through quickly, then check out The Book of Chaos by Jessica Renwick. So that is my review for this month, and I will see you next month.
In this episode, I am going old school. So I'm wearing the old school shirt, talking about an old school company and distillery that has a history of more than 200 years. And we're talking about a product that is very familiar to a lot of you, that is old school as it gets. It is some black spiced rum, indie style, right here, right now on the Indie Brew Review. So the first question you might have about my review here is, how is Jonah's Curse an indie brew? Well, that's a great question, and one I'm going to answer. It is made by the Sarzenek Company, who was founded in 1850 in New Orleans, and of course is well renowned for its world-famous brandy, the Sarzenek brandy. It since then obviously have expanded its liqueur roster, which includes tequilas, rums, obviously, and some whiskeys, which, of course, one of their most famous labels is Southern Comfort, which pretty much everybody knows what Southern Comfort is. This is a black spiced rum. It is 94 proof. It is made through the process of sugarcane and molasses, and it is aged in an oak barrel. The 94 proofing, that's a medium range to high proof. Most solid rums, especially the spice rums, are going to be around that proof. But you get your Bacardis, which are you get your 120 Bacardi. Then you have, of course, your 150s, Everclear. And then, most other liquors are going to be between 60 and 80. And so this is a little bit higher than that. This is recommended as a shooter, shooting it straight. It does have a kick. It has that initial back kick, and then it, warms you up pretty good. I, however, have experienced much success with mixing it, personally. I started with a cherry vanilla Coke mix, which I thought was perfect. That thickness of the Coke, like that molasses flavor and that tinge there that goes perfectly with this with rum, and it mixed very, very well. It was like perfect. It was a marriage made in heaven. And it's smooth. You still get that kick, but the kick smooths out, and you don't get that warm feeling because of the Coke. So if you're one of those people that doesn't like that feeling, I highly recommend cherry vanilla Coke. Cherry Coke was also very good. And then I went for a little experiment and did black cherry soda, and no, that didn't work very well. That was very tart and bitter, and the black cherry was much too sweet for this. It just kind of separates. It's not great. And then I went to ginger ale, which is a very interesting combination, obviously. The ginger ale has a kick to it as well. It has that pungent, tip of your tongue kick. So this has the back kick. So the two kicks together, yes, they do come through, but they wash out, and that's pretty cool. It's almost like they cancel each other out. So you soften the kick with the ginger ale. And then, of course, you have to worry about your intake when you have something that is so the chemistry works so well, because you could drink this pretty fast and not realize you've drank quite a bit of it, as you can see from the bottle here that I had full just this weekend. So you can get drunk really fast. You just have to be very careful. It's a sipper in that respect. I'm sure shots will knock you down pretty quickly as well. This is a very cool product. It is distributed, I should mention, through Katie Distilleries, which means that it's mass produced, which doesn't harm it, I don't think, all that much. It's not watered down. You can see it's very consistent, and it looks like a higher quality, and it tastes like that as well. Katie Distilling is just like saying to an author, how do you print your books? You print them through Ingram Spark. You go through a printing press. Also, for filmmakers, prints are made on Aeroflex, and Technicolor is how you color your films. Same thing. It's a needed necessity to produce your product. As far as I can tell, this is only sold at Total Wine. I think it's a Total Wine exclusivity. However, I know there's not Total Wine everywhere, so I do wonder if you can get it where there isn't Total Wine. Maybe they have a sister store, subsidiary store that they use, package store. So check out your local package store, check out your liquor stores, and see if they've got it. You'll enjoy it if you do. It's moderately priced. It's a $14.99 for the 750 milliliter bottle. However, though, because it's mass produced in exclusivity through Total Wine, you get a nice discount from time to time. You can get it at $9.99 or $12.99, and then in which case, from that point, it makes sense to go to the 1.75 liter guy. This guy right here, as you can see, I went there, and that guy was $19.99 when everything gets reduced. Now it's usually that one's about $24, $26. So it just made sense at $12.99 versus $19.99 to go for that guy. It actually probably made sense right now to go, now that I'm looking at the bottle and what's left, to go for the 26, but that's another story. That's my problem, not yours. Anyway, this is a really, really great drink. And hey, look, you can do your pirate thing with it, Yo ho ho ho, a pirate's life for me. Or go, 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 an indie life for me. That's right, because it's always time to go indie now. Cheers.
Hey everyone, Rebekah Jonesy here, author, COO, and acquisitions officer for Three Furies Press. And I am here today to give you a little editing tip. So one of the hardest things about writing your own unique story is sometimes you have your own unique words or names. So you got to keep those consistent through the whole book. Like I've said before, consistency is key. And when your names are confusing, you want to be especially certain that people know precisely who you're talking about or what you're talking about. If you're talking about, say, a land, a people, or weapons, anything like that, anything with odd names that the spell checker isn't going to immediately pick up and fix for you. So how do we fix that? Well, we're still going to use spell checker. This is my simple, handy dandy, easy trick. If you don't already have it in your cheat sheet, which I spoke about previously, or you just wanted to, double make sure of everything, which, you definitely should, always double and triple check your work. A simple thing to do is open up your document fresh, your Word document fresh, and starting from the top, go down, and you'll see the red squiggle. That's a word that that word thinks isn't spelled properly in order to, and it's suggesting that you change it to something. So here's the easy trick. Right click, ignore all. And boom, for the rest of it, as long as you have not spelled that word differently later on, which, that in that case would be incorrectly, then it's going to ignore all of them. So all of a sudden, thog is completely red everywhere, right? Well, ignore all, and thog is gone. Now you still have thogs, Thog apostrophe S. Those will show up too. So the next time you get to that, once again, you make sure it's written properly and then ignore all. And you can just go through your document and click all of those. One thing you do need to watch out for still is to make sure that everything is properly capitalized, because, well, you always have to watch out for that. It's just that simple. But the good news is if the first word changes, if the first letter goes from an uppercase to a lowercase or vice versa, it will still trigger again. So you can always go through, and that way if you see thug later, or thorg or anything else, something slightly different, a name that you have now spelled improperly, you'll see it, and that way you can make your fix. Nice, simple, easy. We want to make editing as easy as possible, and that is one easy way to do it. So that is it for me. And until next time, everyone, read well and prosper, and I'll see you later.
Number, please.
Hello? Is that Lee? Large object holding over my land like a tornado.
This is WOTW Radio in Cayuga, New Mexico, and this is the news for the hour.
Now, what would you like to tell us about yourself?
I don't know.
Cool, aren't you like some big science girl? Tell me about science.
Everett, it's Faye. The sound came through the board and interrupted your radio show.
What does it sound like?
What's going on, Everett?
718 here at WOTW. We got a sound we'd like to play that seems to be bouncing around the valley tonight.
Yes, I have a story that might be helpful.
I can tell you what's going on.
The sound we heard out in the desert, it was coming from thousands of feet higher than anything could fly.
They've come here before. They've liked this place. They always have.
It is 7:45 p.m. and we may have something that'll need some control. What?
We followed it from Cold Canyon.
Hey!
Who's that? It's Everett. Stop smiling. What's he doing here? He's helping me. Stop smiling.
Get in! It's outside of town! Come on, come on, come on! Hey, come on!
Something's up there now. It's something talking. And they don't stay for long.
Hey!
Everett, take the wheel! What's going on? There's something in the sky.
To what I'm wearing to start off before I carry on. I did this video earlier on. I went on for far too long than I should have done. And oh, hello. And I said to Joe, I'll do this again tomorrow. I've had my shower and my PJs on, but I thought, you know what? We're all in pajamas at the moment these days, and what's wrong with doing a little video about One Night Forever while my husband plays guitar and I'm in my dressing gown and my towels on my head. So, yes, I am Amy Beckinsale. Yes, I am an absolute Fruit Loop for doing this and putting this out there on the internet for everyone to see in my really cheap dressing gown. I'm here to talk about One Night Forever, my debut novel, which is a urban romantic fiction based in London. It's not so much a typical boy meets girl, girl meets boy, because there are a lot of twists in it, and it will leave you wanting more. That's what I've heard from readers as well. They are nagging me for the second book, and it is coming, I promise. So I am just going to read a little bit out for you. Funny fact for a second for you as well. Not only am I looking beyond knackered, towel, dressing gown, my phone's about to die, so I've got it charged up. Because the charger's on the bottom, it's currently sat in my boot, holding up. So far, so good. So I shall begin with the opening sequence of One Night Forever. If someone told me 10 years ago that I'd be spending my working day in a 9-to-6 shop at my age, I would have laughed and walked away with my head held high. Well, doesn't life come around and smack you with smugness? Yes, I am indeed stuck in that very job. How the hell did I let this happen? Where did I go so wrong in what was meant to be a walk in the park towards a high-end career? Every day I feel like walking into a group meeting where we all share our feelings about how we managed to fuck up what was meant to be easy. I'm a 32-year-old whose ambitions it was to become a successful artist. I was going to create elegance for a living and see my life's work being displayed in the Tate Modern. I was going to be proud, goddammit. Yet here I am talking to you, a sales desk, thinking I'm in a group discussion about life. God, I'm talking to myself. Chapter 1, very brief because I'm looking at the time. Stop watching the time. It's not going to make the end of the day come any faster. It felt as though Megan Ashton was watching a clock with no batteries while waiting for her shift to end. It was almost the end of the working week, as her friends who were in office jobs kept telling her, and it was a rare to be blessed with a weekend off in her career, a glorious 5 o'clock finish, and not having to go back until Monday. Days like that didn't come around too often. She decided she would have an early dinner that night, then a hot, relaxed bubble bath with a bottle of chilled wine or beer, depending on her mood and what the supermarket was offering as a deal. Then she would take her free time to research evening courses at her local college where she studied art and design. She was good at her job. Over the years, she learnt many styles and selling techniques that could easily show up the sales teams in large corporate companies. That, however, did not mean she wanted it to be a lifelong career. She had ambitions. She just had to find the right path to walk down to make them happen. So that's the beginning of the book, but it is available on Amazon. You can purchase the paperback or you can purchase the Kindle version. Entirely up to you. It's your preference. You do what you want to do. I am on all the social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Just downloaded TikTok, so do bear with me. I don't know what I'm doing. So if you've got any hints, that'd be lush. Thank you very much. And I will see you then. Take care, stay safe. Bye-bye.
Doing anything fun tonight?
We are going on a date with another woman.
Are you sure Jonah's into this?
Yeah, of course.
I hope you don't mind if I bring nuts to the party.
I don't think that I can do this.
If you feel bad, then you can go.
By myself?
I'm sure she can't compare. I'm gonna lick you, salt you, then lick you. Shot, lime.
She's afraid you won't be into her.
I am, though.
I can't pay attention to 2 women at once.
Just pay attention to me then. Such a good kisser. You don't smoke.
Now I do.
We can all change our minds too. We're all in or we're not, right?
Cloud Diver, Level 1-1, Chapter 6. I put it down. Walk until I say stop. I walked forward 3 paces. Stop. I stopped. Turn around. Steel underscored the velvet tone in her voice. There was an or else implied in her tone. Got a good look at the redhead as trailing since this all started. She was smaller than I expected. Diamond-hard great eyes stared right through me as though there was nothing out of the ordinary. There was only the tiniest bit of tension in her stance. Her outlook was like something from the Victorian era. She looked like the video game character more than a real person. Who are you? The redhead caressed the trigger with her finger. She wanted to pull it so badly. I could see the tension in her stance. Why hadn't she pulled the trigger? Could it be that the gun was a bluff? That this was more tool than weapon? I breathed a sigh of relief. Oh, this bullet will kill you, she said, making my tension heighten. This blade is more than it appears. Answer my question. Who are you? I considered my options. The tablet's escape option mocked me right now. If only I brought it with me. Feeling shy, she grinned. She had been in this place before. Her grin faded quickly and she resumed her hard-ass stance. I will ask again. Who are you? Or I will shoot you, and you will die. Was she bluffing? No way to know unless she shot me. I didn't want to die here, but I wasn't sure telling her my name was a good idea. If you don't tell me your name and why you're here, you will die in 5, 4, 3, 2... I'm an engineer for life! I pleaded in the please don't kill me voice I didn't know I had. Don't you all play in the tower? It's a paycheck, I admitted. The honesty softened the steel in her gaze for a second. The rational part of me realized that I should be asking her the same things. What was she doing here? What was she after? Why are you here? I really don't have a good answer, I admitted. The 13th floor isn't supposed to exist. I opened it and saw you walking on air. I see. Her eyes softened again and she turned inward. She seemed to be weighing my words in her mind. I blinked again, looking at my gnome-sized savior. I did my best not to sigh in relief when I found him. I opened Stevie Y in silent mode, hoping she wouldn't notice. He still seemed a little woozy in my mind's eye when I gazed at him. Dude, what was I thinking? His thoughts rattled in my skull. I didn't respond, looking into the soulless eye of the crazy chick with the gun, praying she hadn't noticed me working on my own escape. Stevie Y naturally was oblivious to my impending doom. At first. Why are you silent? Cat got you. Oh, I see. The situation made Stevie Y go into his own form of silence as he worked on accessing the system's nodes and pathways. He had managed to get into the system, and hopefully he could find a way to at least get to another room nearby. What's going on in there? A light flashed in her eyes, and the gun was pressed tighter against my head. Perspiration trickled down my forehead. I think I can get you away from here, Stevie Y said. It took every ounce of willpower not to squeal and show elation on my face. I was almost thankful the gun was on my temple. There was no way for me to let my tension fall to a happy place while she still held my life in her hands. Sudden movements might trigger my death now. You need to give me a minute, Stevie Y said. There's a floor above here I can send you. Stall her until I can. How could I last a minute? You gonna kill me? I suck at small talk. Small talk was significantly more difficult with a gun to the head when you were frantically seeking a way not to die. thinking about it, she admitted. I like being the only one that knows about this place. But I thought asking this question might actually be beneficial for my whale building. Mentally, my count reached 10. 10 seconds down, 50 more to go. Why did you follow me? I stalled with silence. I was panicking, I admit. Should I tell her the truth? Do I need to count down from 5 again? Okay, then the truth it was. Just had the last 45 more seconds. I was curious. Gulp of 13th floor, I gasped, catching my breath, finding it odd right here that I'm wondering exactly what I'm breathing in the simulation. I really hope this idle question was my last thought here. She nodded and moved the gun just slightly away from my head. How many seconds was that? 5? 10 maybe? My little back door. Must have been fate, I guess. She considered me one more time and pointed the gun right between my eyes. You're gonna kill me? I'm going to kill you, she admitted. I did the only thing I could think of to buy me another second or two. I screamed. Not my proudest moment, but my screeching grounded her movements to a halt. Ow, she said, no dignity? Dad is dead, I stated. True? Boss, DBY whispered in my mind, get ready. I braced myself as I finally pulled the trigger. I heard the gunfire before an intense flash blinded me. When my vision cleared, I was no longer standing in the disgusting remnants of a library. I was standing in a garden with trees and flowers blooming around me. I smelled dandelions and pine. This, much like the library, was an unvisited place. I felt like I was disturbing it just by standing there. In the middle of this undisturbed realm stood an ugly brown statue of a naked humanoid giant holding the scariest looking spear I had ever seen. Pure menace was staring down at me. The giant spear itself was 3 of me. His only eye was closed as if sleeping. Before I could sag in relief at escaping certain death, I heard a stone chip as the bronze eye blinked back into existence and the giant came back to life. Who dares disturb my slumber? His booming voice shook the room as he glared at me, his spear spinning in his hands. The fear I felt with the gunblade paled into comparison, and I suddenly wished the chick had shot me. I ran. What would you do?
He won't see a psychotherapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever. He won't take antidepressants, but he is depressed. Something is wrong. Deeply wrong.
So the bones are thought to be about 9,000 years old Native American. You know, whoever murdered her dumped her in the tar pit.
I know what I'm gonna write. How's the bestseller?
Is he actually writing in verse?
I think so. It's beautiful.
It won't work. Tell me how he writes. Does he write at a desk?
She thinks you're having an affair.
There is no other woman. I'm simply writing a story.
He loves you.
I know.
You call this love?
I love you, so I don't want something to happen to you.
You left me.
I need help.
We'll say it's alcohol.
Who drew these?
Oh, nobody.
Well, you tell nobody these are quite good.
You're lucky.
How am I lucky?
You're lucky because you have something you want to be.
Come on, that's not fair!
All I want to be is somewhere else.
Hello, Kathrin Hutson here, coming at you all the way from my home office in Vermont, and I am here today to give you guys a video reading of my upcoming book. This is my 7th novel and the 2nd in my international best-selling dystopian sci-fi Blue Helix series. This is Sleepwater Static, and this comes from chapter 18, and an excerpt that I have not previously shared, so you're getting a sneak peek here today. Even with how easy it was to match his slow, leisurely pace, Bernadette still felt rushed, pressured, scrambling for something she couldn't name but knew wasn't there in the first place. So she shoved the frightened animal back down into its hole with an overly experienced hand and told it to stay. Tell me what's going on at Mr. B's. Her head turned toward him, but she couldn't look up from the crooked, fractured sidewalk that had seen fewer repairs than most of the houses around them. Not just there. It's everywhere. Daryl cleared his throat. Whole damn city. Probably everywhere else, too. Don't know how much actually starts down here these days, if it ever did. She had to ignore that. Otherwise, it would send her to her knees on the cement glittering under the streetlights. What a self-centered thought that he could have possibly been talking about her, them, their life. But she was always making the connection between things that really had no business being drawn together like this, wasn't she? Everywhere she went, every piece of her followed. Please, Daryl. Another drag made her throat burn a little more and the supplication sting a little less. Just lay it out for me. Maybe you're not too old to talk circles around me or anyone else, but I'm too old to try keeping up. Nah, you're keeping up just fine. I'm the one tripping all over myself. That sort of confession was new. People said wisdom came with age. Experience, knowledge, understanding all came with age. Bernadette felt like a child, trying to piece together the broken bits of conversation as they launched out of the grown-ups' mouths and right over her head. You don't trip. Well, my balance ain't what it used to be either. It brought silent, strained chuckles from them both. A tiny dog barked through an open window down the street, even after the two cars driving way too fast had disappeared from view. I'm guessing you've watched the news at least once in the last year. At least? Sure. All that shit floating around about your kind of folks out there. Bernadette sighed. TV, radio. We saw a flyer pinned up at a gas station on our way through Mississippi. He coughed. You got more of your people with you? Not surprising, is it? Bernadette caught his shrug from the corner of her eye. There aren't a lot of people I can be around these days if they're not my kind of folks. Sure. Yeah, I get that. Makes it safer some ways. Might make it harder to keep going some ways, too. Because my people are all over the news? Daryl's head dipped in hesitant agreement. All over the country, too, ain't they? And the whole damn country's finally paying attention. Well, that kind of thing was bound to happen. Bernadette lifted the cigarette to her lips again and paused to watch a young mother drag her two buoyant, bouncing kids behind her from the car to the front door of their home. If Daryl had seen it too, and how could he not? He didn't seem to have a reaction. Then again, why would he? He'd said it himself. He was still here. She lowered the cigarette again without another drag and kept walking. I guess it just took longer than any of us thought before my kind of folks got any widespread recognition. Nah, see, that's where you're missing the whole point. Daryl's voice, the voice that never rose above normal speaking volume, no matter the conversation, the voice that could soothe or rebuke with the exact same intensity behind each, was just loud enough to bounce back at them from the wooden fence lining the yard of one of the nicer houses on the street. Bernadette shot him a quick glance, and the man sniffed. When he spoke again, the composure and calculated lucidity had fully returned, as if he'd never spoken that last sentence aloud. I don't think you understand what's happening around here. Maybe in other parts too, but I can't speak for anywhere else. It ain't recognition spreading. It's fear, girl. Hate. Rage. You hear what I'm saying? She finally took that drag she'd missed in lieu of watching the doubled echo of her past pulling children indoors after a late night out. And it was long. So long she expected to cough out the hot, searing smoke and then cough some more after that. It might have even been better than the crackle of the cherry tip and the soft, whispering steps as they moved through the neighborhood. She heard him all right. And somewhere in the back of her mind, she'd already known the truth of it when she felt so many eyes on her inside Mr. B's. Hearing it from this man's mouth cracked open the seal of her own denial and let loose all the other certainties she'd forced into a box much too small to keep them there for long. Bernadette. A little hum of regret and heartache seeped out of her. Maybe 3 times she'd heard her full name from Daryl's lips, and each of those times was sewn to a day and a place she would have given what remained of her sanity to forget. I heard you. I hear you. Sounds to me like you ain't listening, though. And that is where we're going to stop. Thank you for listening to this reading from Sleepwater Static, and I'm so excited to share Bernadette's story with the world in this bye.
Hello everyone, Rebekah Jonesy here from Three Furies Press, and today I'm going to be reading an excerpt from Maxwell Demon by L. Bachman. Maxwell Demon is a fallen angel who is looking for the love of his life, who also just happens to be the one soul who can change the world. As the angels fell that sad day, they released piercing screeches and sobs. As wings burnt and tore from their roots, their tears shifted, floating toward the light of God. Time stood still, the fall feeling like an eternity. Bodies changed and became more solid, and skin grew over the light they were made of, trapping it inside. Just before hitting the earth, time sped up, and the ground absorbed them all, sucking them down into the absence of light. Falling angels' hands reached up toward that light, but it began to dim as they were drawn downward. A final attempt to grasp it was snuffed out as fingertips disappeared into the ground. They shifted, now facing their new place in the cycle of things. The suffering continued as they beat on the ground of this hellish place. Bellows of sadness filled the void, and forms changed once more. Beautiful, angelic, non-corporeal forms were now trapped in fleshy, corporeal bodies. In organic armor. Horns grew from foreheads, marking them. Twisting up like vines wrapping a tree's trunk, they tilted back, marring once beautiful, flawless faces. Eyes turned dark and became empty, hollow sockets. Teeth broke, fallen from gums, and thick blood poured from their mouths, choking them. Maxwell's screams ended, but his torment continued throughout his silence. His face was stained with gray soot, his tears making trails. Trembling fingers explored his new, sensitive horns, and he sucked back the painful gasps. Despite not having physical eyes, he could still see the scene playing out before him. These new creatures were almost unrecognizable. Some began to stand on shaky legs and aimlessly wander around within the darkness. His still trembling hands moved toward his shoulder blades, feeling the fresh wounds where his wings used to be, and his lips twisted into a heavy frown. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Mother and Father," he whimpered. None of them knew how long this punishment would be, or even if it would ever end. However, as time passed, some embraced the darkness, welcoming the negativity in their empty hearts. Maxwell refused to fully allow it in, holding out hope. He witnessed the rise of Lucifer over this new domain, listened to his charming words, but he had learned the hard way about listening to those like himself. Desperately wanting to find a way to get back home, thoughts of Lilith came forth, and his heart slowly began to refill. Hope could be such a dangerous thing, but it was dripping back into his life. His eyes turned up, staring at the bathroom mirror at what he had become. He embraced the more human form over the demonic that so many similar beings claimed as their true forms. Hands gathered up water and splashed it over his face, cleaning it of shaving cream, as Adele's bellows died. With a heavy sigh, he dried his face, walking back to the front room. Expecting to see her quivering in a pile, he instead saw the door open and Adele gone. His head tilted, and he inhaled, breathing in any scent that could be in the air. Nothing. Moving through the room, he found her standing against the railing outside, peering over it. "Adele?" he asked carefully, unsure of her state of mind. "What are you doing?" His eyes shifted, watching her hands gripping the railing. "Why don't you come inside?" She turned her face to look at him. Her eyes were watery, and her face puffy. "What does it matter? If I am what you really say I am, I'm already damned. I'm going there anyway." Her words were dripping with hopelessness and despair. He dropped the towel on a chair just inside the door, stepping outside. "No, you're not like that. You're different because you have a chance. If I can save you, get you to the Bishop family, your family, you will be given a chance. A chance is more than anyone damned has ever gotten." And like I said, that is an excerpt from Maxwell Demon that is being published by Three Furies Press. And thank you all for listening, and I hope you go and order it. Until next time, everyone, read well and prosper.
I have a routine. Things in place.
Alex? What's up, big brother?
I haven't heard from you in over a year.
You stopped sending an email.
You stopped responding.
I'm direct from Afghanistan. What the?
It's just gonna be for like a couple days. We take care of some stuff, and then I'm gonna blow off, all right? How long have you been on lock now?
About a year.
Were you off the sauce or something?
Quit drinking, yeah.
Cut the delivery guy. Give him $100. What do you think about this girl?
Hey. You Alex?
I'm Alex, actually.
I need you for my wingman tonight, okay?
You're different.
You get to go first. 991 Alex H. Allen, Sergeant. Number 36241410991. I'll take the first watch, sir.
Late last night, authorities discovering an abandoned vehicle off a back road in the Point Defiance area.
It's the girl from the news.
Yes, Marcia Webb. She's been missing about a year.
You can't tell them I was here.
Why?
Because I'm in trouble, Peter.
Hold on. What have you been doing in the woods? Huh? Sin!
Possible. Here's a good place to die. Good, bad. It's all the same, really.
This is Okubo here. Welcome to GoIndieNow Film Reviews, and today's film review is going to be Shadows of Freedom, the Jewish-Algerian Resistance of World War II. And having read Mein Kampf and having read Himmler's diary, I can attest to the veracity of the well-researched stuff that was done in this documentary. That one key point is how the Jewish-Algerian resistance fighters took control of that city and basically were able to do this only because Hitler had not provided any support, right? And they were able to hold it for so long, and this is done very, very well researched documentary. And I'm gonna butcher this name, but I'm very sorry. One of the key characters here is Henri de Astier, born 1897 and passed away in 1952. One of the greatest aspects of how it was all organized. And then Operation Torch, and how this is researched into allowing so much to go right later on in the war because so much went wrong in the North African campaign. This documentary is done in a comic book style. You know, it's kind of like a comic, surreal, dark animations that are just freeze frames as they're telling the story. It's beautiful, and it's very, very well intermixed with actual footage, with interviews, with the actual data. It's beautiful documentary. This, in my opinion, is what a documentary should provide the viewer. There are a couple of issues that I had, of course. One of them was with, even though it's very well researched, there is something at the end, the last line kind of thing that I disagree with. where it says the patriots versus nationalists, right? And a patriot fights for their country. I'm going to butcher this line, but a patriot fights for the love of their country. A nationalist fights for their country, but out of hate for other countries. And sure, that's what Hitler did, but there are many, many nationalists out there who don't embody that kind of mentality. That's a very limited spec, right? For example, Gandhi was a nationalist, right? The Dalai Lama is a nationalist, right? So yeah, patriots fight for their country, and there's something called patriotism, yes, but nationalism doesn't necessarily mean that you have to dislike other nations, just that you want your nation to succeed. There's a completely difference there. It's kind of like a misrepresentation or a bad translation, however we want to view it. But other than that, that's the only negative thing. Compared to this film, I have nothing but praise for it, and I really, 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 really recommend someone to do this film justice by bringing it up to the major film festivals out there and just, letting it run its course, because it provides so much information. It's so well researched, and it's a story that needs to be told. And I agree, it's very, very beautifully done. And please watch the trailer after this, and remember, it's always time to go indie now.
Algiers actually had an impact on the war effort. Indeed, it's the only Jewish resistance movement that really had an impact on the war effort and in the process saved American lives.
There were supposed to be about 800 or so insurgents show up for the uprising. Only a few hundred showed up. They went through with their plan anyway.
Of the 388, 315 were Jewish. Abul Khair was the local leader of the Jewish resistance movement at the time, about 20 years old.
Pour des raisons évidentes, pour eux, la lutte contre Hitler était une lutte pour la vie.
It was the first large joint operation between the Americans and the British, even though they didn't see eye to eye.
Roosevelt knows we have to fight the Germans and the Italians somewhere in 1942. We have to have a success when we go after them. North Africa is the place to do it.
Fewer than 400 people took the entire city of Algiers and kept it under their control.
It was a massive operation behind the scenes.
The most important piece of territory in the European theater of war at that moment.
It was a dramatic movement of resistance, and it was a statement.
Operation Torch is the longest invasion ever mounted in the history of the world.
It was absolutely crucial to the outcome of the war.
Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to another indie music review. This is Ukrainian ethnic chaos rock? I don't know. It's a fusion of weird things, and it's called Dakha Brakha.
Незнамоно де подіться, зайшов у кабак погріться, збросив свій мундір. Збросив мундір ще й очки, перевалявся на клашки, сам пішов плясать, сам пішов плясать.
It's in Russian. If there's something I'll always love, it's musical discovery. This is some funky stuff right here. When we talk about musical discovery, it can include genres I'd never checked out, artists that are new to me, albums I'd never heard, or discographies that I'd never heard, or listening to music from another country. I love discovering music from other countries. Enter Dakha Brakha, a world music quartet from Kiev, Ukraine. Basically take a Tom Waits-like funkiness, pass it through this Ukraine filter, and again, you get what they refer to as ethnic chaos, which I love as a genre name. It's fresh, it's unexpected, it's relentlessly original, and it's music that occasionally it's great to chill to write to, or I suspect some people might like to get higher than a kite to, and some of these songs are funky and rambunctious. I want to start off with this one because it's just so funky and so fun, and it's the type of song that makes you want to groove. But you also get songs like, I don't know, this is crazy stuff. It is so funky, there's so much energy, there's so much stuff. The thing is, it's weird to get, I get it. But they have so many instruments coming in and going out. Try to imagine that there's 4 people playing. You've got percussion, you've got strings, you've got piano and chords and stuff like that. You've got like flutes, and they bring so much to just one song. It's crazy. But check this out. It's just nuts. And here is another chilly, funky song. Seriously, I'd love to say the song names, but I'm not sure how you pronounce it, and I'm just gonna risk the album name, which is Alambari or Alambri. These guys and these 3 gals and guy are just so fun, and I love digging and bringing you different stuff so that it's not always like rock or hip hop or whatever. I digging online, and seriously, I did a lot of checking out, and I couldn't find a record label backing these people, although I do see that the quartet is born from the Kiev Center of Contemporary Art. It's got Ukrainian folk music, but also has some urban and hip-hop rhythms to it, as well as instruments from India, Arabic descent, African, Russian, Australian instruments. They've got so much going on, and it's always fresh, it's always unexpected. I've listened to most of their discography, and it's great writing music, man. It's uncompromising, it's weird, it's funky, it's got one hell of a groove, and it's got more curveballs than a major league pitcher. They just released this year this album, which is Alambari. It's pretty far out there, but I wanted to showcase yet another musical style, another genre, another country. So to invite you, just dive in, listen, explore, discover new things, because as writers, trust me, you listen to this stuff and it's gonna tap into some weird stuff in your brain. At least that's always the case for me, and I just love it, and I love funky different things. And these guys, these 3 gals and a guy, there's something pretty special, there's something pretty different, and there's something pretty indie in it, and I think that's all things that you can enjoy. So by all means, link is down in the description. If you have any recommendations from other countries or weird stuff that you would like me to check out, by all means, give it to me. Feed the scruffy author with good music, because I love finding out new stuff. If you have any other questions, by all means, use that sexy comment section down below. Until next time, peace, love, maki rolls, and remember, it's always time to get funky, get groovy, and go indie.
Ішов монах із походи під морози, під негоди, чи живі не змерз. Не знав монах, де подіться, зайшов у кабак, погріться, збросив свій мундір. Збросив мундір, ще й очки, перевалявся на клашки, сам пішов плясать, сам пішов плясать. Наплясався, наігрався, з доброї волі розпрощався, скочив на крильцо, вдарив у кольцо.
Hey guys, Kathrin here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you another monthly marketing tip. Today I'm going to be telling you about how you can leverage Amazon categories for a better sales rank. One mistake that I think a lot of new authors and self-published authors make is only using the 2 categories that Amazon gives you when you first sign up, when you first upload your book into Amazon KDP. Now, you can actually have up to 8 additional categories. And first of all, why would you want to do that? Well, you want to be able to list in as many categories as you can, and especially in subcategories and niches, so that you can get a higher sales ranking. So for instance, if you and a million other people are in the general science fiction or fantasy category, but your book is a steampunk, or your book is a diverse book that has diverse characters in it, there are actually subcategories for that have much less amount of books in there. Instead of having a million books, they might have 150,000, and so therefore your book will rank higher. Now, how do you get these subcategories? How do you even know what they are? Well, there's a couple of tools out there. One of the most popular is KDP Rocket. It is a paid program, and you can pay for that, and it'll tell you what the best categories are for your book based on the criteria that you put in there. But another easy and free way to do this is to go to your main book category and check out the first 10 to 20 authors, the best-selling authors, best-selling books that are there. Go to their sales pages and check out what subcategories they are listed in to get an idea of what the best categories for your book could be. Okay, and once you figure out which subcategories that you want to try to get into, how do you achieve this? There's a couple ways to do this. You can go through Amazon Author Central, and you can go to their contact form on there. Select the book that you're going to be talking about, the one that you want to change the categories for, and you can send them an email, and that usually takes 24 to 48 hours. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than that. What I like to do, and which is always proven much faster for me, is I will call Amazon. You usually have to call on like Monday through Friday, because usually the KDP team is not there on the weekends. But what you do is you just call the regular Amazon customer service number, and when you get connected, tell them that you want to talk to someone in Amazon Direct Publishing, and they will transfer you, and you'll get in contact with somebody who is able to go in there and change those categories for you. You just tell them which categories you want. Be ready with your AISN number so you can tell them which book it is, or your AISN number is probably the best way to tell them. You can tell them by title, but they'll have to look it up. So if you have your AISN number already ready for them, it's a lot faster. But usually they change the categories faster, your request gets put in faster, and within 24 hours, usually you're in the categories that you want to be in. One thing that I want to address is, please don't try to use these categories as a way to cheat. I've seen a lot of authors do this, and it's just unethical, and it really gets on my nerves. Some authors will put their story that's completely unrelated, like say you wrote a book that's a fantasy book, and you're going to put it in Latino something, and you have no Latino characters. So doing that, it kind of, trying to get a super, super specific sub-niche that doesn't really apply to your book overall. Like, say you have one Latino character and they're a sub-character and they're there for like one scene. That's not a category you want to be sticking yourself in. So don't cheat the categories. Do make sure that the subcategories that you're picking out are something that will complement your book and won't seem like you're trying to cheat ranking. So basically make sure that they're relevant. Another way you can try to get into different categories is by using certain keywords in your title, your subtitle, or your description. Now, when you do this, keep in mind that if you're going to change your title or your subtitle, that those changes need to be reflected on your book. You can't just take your subtitle or your title and just put some random keywords in there, because you'll get your book taken down. They have to match what is on your cover. So that's one way that you can do it, but I prefer to actually contact them with the subcategories that I am aiming for. It's usually a lot faster. Okay, that's all for me this month for my marketing tip. I will see you next month with a brand spanking new marketing tip. All right, bye.
I'm a filmmaker in Los Angeles. I've been making movies. Well, I started acting in movies when I was 5, and I've been directing movies since 1999. They've been short films, and just this year, my first feature film has come out. I was raised very early on in front of the camera, grew up watching every kind of movie I possibly could get my hands on, every kind of TV show. For me, it's just been one of those things where I've been more inspired as a writer-director, and it's also been easier, especially in independent filmmaking, which is my background, to have that level of control.
Hello? I'm just looking for some furniture. Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Are you having a sale? Hello? Hello?
Good morning.
Oh, Hi, good morning. I didn't see you there.
What's your name?
Amanda.
I'm Jack.
Hi.
Amanda.
Mhm.
I like that name.
So, are you still doing the yard sale today?
Not a yard sale, garage sale. It's all in there. Well, go ahead, have a look. Got a couple of lamps there. I got a table. I got a bookshelf, a nice pine coffee table too.
No, it's okay. Thank you, though.
Wait. I thought you wanted furniture.
I do. It's
Go ahead. I got lots of stuff. I got lamps.
normally when you have a garage sale, you take things out.
Normally.
Mhm.
So, what are you saying, Amanda? That I ain't normal?
No, it's not that. It's
I'm
just.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh.
I'm playing with you.
Okay. Really?
I'm playing with you. Have a look. There's lots of stuff in there. You'll find something.
Okay. I guess one peek didn't hurt.
There you go.
I do like this table. Do you think you can take it out for me so I can get a closer look? What the fuck?
Sale's over.
Sort of see your vision all the way through. I act as my own editor. I've acted as my own cinematographer, actually like physically filming the things in some cases. So it's always been very much doing it myself.
How did you think this was gonna end?
I don't know, man.
Did you honestly think that we just
Come on, man.
wouldn't know?
Come on, you know me. You know me. You know that I'm good.
Yeah, no, I know. I've known you for a long time. Thought of you as like a brother. But you have got the biggest mouth on you.
It's like a magic trick. It's like kind of distraction and sort of telling the audience what they're supposed to feel, moving them certain places. That's one of the things that I really love. My favorite novel I remember growing up as a kid was H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. Grew up reading Ray Bradbury, all of his short stories, A.E. Van Vogt. I'm a Trekkie, so I love Star Trek. It just seemed natural. Like I loved sci-fi so much, and I kind of was seeing a way in. One of the most commercially viable genres for up-and-coming filmmakers is horror. It was just a matter of calling in a lot of favors and knowing specifically where the money that we did have should be spent. A lot of creative people that were really excited by just the project and working on the movie and wanting to contribute, and they all brought their A game. If you can make a film for like $5,000 or $10,000, you can make a film for $1 million. The actual act of making a film doesn't change. If you can learn how to talk to your cinematographer, if you can learn how to talk to your boom operator, if you can learn how to get good performances from your actors, if you can understand what editing is, if you can understand how to write a scene, it doesn't change that much. In terms of what is available for anybody who's interested in my work now, there's obviously going and getting the feature film, Amazon and Vudu and Vimeo and YouTube. You can also check out, there's a collection of my older short films that's now out on DVD and Blu-ray as well. Keep watching movies, keep watching horror films, keep watching any kind of films. Don't lose spirit, and we'll all get through this.
As the sun sets on another glorious season of programming here at GoIndieNow, we have one thing to say about what's to come.
We're live! Going live!